Hello and welcome to the Pretty Good Gaming Monday morning news roundup video. My name's Gareth Evans, this is Mr. Henry Cooper. In today's show we've got loads of stuff to talk about. We've got a juicy bunch of news nuggets as well as some awesome other stories ready for your consumption. Are you ready? That's the question. According to reports in the Wall Street Journal this morning, Nintendo are preparing to announce 2 new versions of their Nintendo Switch at E3 this year. One model will have enhanced features targeted at avid gamers. The other, the cheaper model, will be aimed at the filthy casuals. That was my words, not theirs. A person who has used both of the devices said the following: "You would be wrong to think the enhanced version is similar to what Sony did with the PS4 Pro, and the other is just a cheap alternative that looks very similar to some past handheld machines, say Sony's PlayStation Vita." Well, that clears that up then. The cheaper model is said to be foregoing features such as the HD rumble controller vibration in order to cut costs. The more expensive model, however, will feature a liquid crystal screen. Sony and Microsoft both released new models of their consoles this generation a few years in. So far, the Switch has sold over 32 million units since its launch in March 2017. Now into its 3rd year, the time is probably right for Nintendo to upgrade the hardware to keep the console up to date. And so if the Wall Street Journal is to be believed, we will just have to wait until June for more details, which will be unveiled during E3. I've said this from the very outset. You update that hardware and I will definitely be buying that stuff because I really enjoy my Nintendo Switch and just chilling out and playing games on it, right?
It just needs to be a little bit better.
Yeah.
Just a little. That
plastic screen just doesn't eke kind of, high end, does it? If the fact that if they're updating the screen and if we've shown on screen already the screenshot of what somebody's mocked up, the cheaper version does look like a PlayStation Vita. I think that's what the guy was referring to in the quote that we read out. So, I mean, I'm all for it. Hopefully it will just upgrade the hardware enough to be able to run more of the AAA games or more of the higher end games. Let's say AAA games are a different beast these days, but the higher end games with more graphic fidelity, that's what we want on the Switch, and hopefully they can manage it.
Sony will be launching their own marketing showcase tonight at 9 PM GMT. The show, called State of Play, will essentially be Sony's version of a Nintendo Direct or Inside Xbox Showcase. It's unclear what they'll show off, but there's plenty to speculate about. Other than Days Gone in late April and Dreams at some point, Sony seems to have a pretty quiet year ahead of them. They have some major titles coming up in the future, but many of these don't have release dates yet. It wouldn't be at all surprising if at least one of these got some concrete information or even just a release window. At the very least, we can expect some new trailers and possibly some announcements of new projects. One game we could get some information on is Death Stranding. The game will be appearing at the Tribeca Film Festival as we covered last week, but in addition to that, Hideo Kojima has said that the game has entered the critical phase. Translated from Japanese, he said, "It's a process to connect the parts, to fix the operation, feelings, the production, the specifications, the trouble, and to strip the flesh and make changes while I play the game directly every day on PS4. Critical phase." This does suggest that the game will come out on this generation rather than next, and has already been lots to suggest that it will come this year.
Critical phase. What he's playing, he's lounging on his couch all day playing the game with his feet up while everyone else is doing the hard work. It's a critical phase, this guy's, honestly, believe me.
Guys, you got to recode this bit.
Yeah, this is shit. Guys, get on this, get on this.
Well, it's definitely good to see that it's in a playable state. It just needs to be tweaked and fixed and all that.
You would assume what he's talking about is going from alpha to beta, right? Where the game's all playable all the way through, and he's just trimming the fat, like he says, and all the rest of it.
Yeah, it's choosing which bits to get rid of, which bits to keep, which bits to change. So it's more, I think that it's definitely a top contender to show up at the showcase today. We'll obviously have more news in the future, but we could get some Last of Us 2, some Ghost of Tsushima. They're the other big ones that may come out this year, but could just as likely come out next year.
I think Sony, I don't know whether this is a knee-jerk reaction to what Google did and just blew the lid off the industry in terms of streaming and the future and all things like that. And I think Sony's reaction might be this. I'm not sure whether this was planned for a while or not, but it's worked well for Nintendo to be unveiling games during Nintendo Directs every so often whenever they've got stuff to show off. So it makes sense for Sony, considering they're not coming to E3 this year, and they skipped the Sony event
PSX.
Yeah, PSX, which they usually do last year. So they've not announced anything. It was all cold on the Sony front, and nobody knew when we were getting anything from them. And like I said, on the back of Google blowing the lid off the future of gaming the other week, everyone was question marking over Sony. Now, is this their answer? Will they be bringing forth and impressing people tonight at 9 p.m. GMT? We'll have to wait and see.
I mean, I wouldn't expect a PS5 type unveiling, but definitely some game stuff. It could happen.
I'd fucking love that.
But yeah, just like tiny little, we're here for an hour doing a little showcase.
And then just absolutely wreck everything. Just leave everything in ruins, and everyone's like, oh shit.
It's backwards compatible. Fuck it, you can play N64 games on it. We don't care.
I'd love it. I'd love it.
And now, of course, everyone's favourite news segment, the Daily News Nuggets.
Atlus announced the next game in the Persona series will be called Persona 5 The Royal. The game was revealed in a 45-second trailer on Saturday, with more information promised on April the 24th.
When I read that just there, I thought it said Persona 5
Battle
The Royale. I was like, oh god, not another one. Persona 5 Battle Royale.
Battle Royale game where you just got to skip through loads and loads of dialogue.
Yeah.
Like I was playing Persona 5 because it's fucking
Whoever
boring.
skips the dialogue quickest wins.
I did say Persona 5 was boring. Lynch me. Come at me, bros.
As well as newcomer Octane arriving last week, Apex Legends will be getting another additional character sometime soon. The as-yet unannounced character will arrive before the end of the first Battle Pass season in 12 weeks' time.
If you were excited about the announcement of Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines 2 last week, and you want more info, like right now, well, you can get 9 minutes and 20 seconds worth of info from this new interview with two of the devs creating the game. There's a link in the description.
There's a new Power Rangers themed fighting game coming out this week for $19.99. Power Rangers Battle for the Grid is being developed and published by Enway and will launch on Xbox One and Nintendo Switch on March 26th, on PS4 on the 28th in Europe and April the 2nd in North America, and PC sometime in the summer.
From Software's latest cause for broken controllers everywhere, Sekiro Shadows Die Twice, launched on Friday and is a big hit on Steam, reaching a 124,334 concurrent player peak over the weekend. And that's pretty impressive, especially for a single player only game, and makes it the biggest game on Steam of 2019 so far, ahead of Resident Evil 2 at just over 74,000 concurrent players and Devil May Cry 5 at over 88,000.
Loot boxes in Blizzard's MOBA Heroes of the Storm are no longer purchasable with real-world money, but can still be bought with in-game currency. Belgium outlawed loot boxes back in summer last year, and this new change will be in effect in all versions of the game.
According to a new report, Apple is working on a premium games subscription for the App Store. Therefore, if you like playing mobile games so much that you would rather pay a subscription to play them than, say, pay a therapist to fix your broken brain, Apple's got your back.
Retro sci-fi cooperative first-person shooter Generation Zero is out tomorrow and will launch on PS4, Xbox One and PC. The game is developed by Swedish studio Avalanche Games, the studio behind the Just Cause series and the upcoming Rage 2, in conjunction with id Software.
So there you have it for your news nuggets for today. Links to everything that we have just mentioned are down in the description of this video if you want to go and check them out. But be sure to come back to this video because that would be naughty.
After your amazing news nuggets, we'll have the questionable joke of the day section. And this comes from the Discord, which you can get access to if you go to our Patreon at patreon.com/prettygoodgaming. This comes in from Tons. I saw a magician yesterday who turned audience members into wind turbines. I immediately became a big fan. It's just dumb.
PGG roller coaster, and the higher the nuggets, the lower the joke. Thanks, Tons, by the way. I said that. That was a good joke. It was a good joke by our standards. And the last story for today, Twitch streamer The Happy Hob made news back in March 2018 when he took 10 hours to complete the Dark Souls trilogy back to back without taking a single hit. Well, the reason we're talking about him is that he was back in the news again over the last week as he completed the monumental feat of playing all 5 of the Soulsborne games back to back, again without taking a single hit. A single hit from the enemies, not like a single hit from like a spliff or something, you know.
I don't know if that'd help your performance or hinder it if you got a joint.
It'd probably make it a bit more of a chilled experience, though.
Yeah,
you wouldn't get as angry.
You could really deal with it in that kind of game.
You wouldn't give a fuck if you got hit.
Hey man, let's just. Why are we fighting?
Let's put something better. Let's put like an easy game on.
Oh man, am I fucking stoned?
Under his own rules, which he determined himself, taking just a single hit meant he had to start from the very beginning of all 5 games. In fact, he's been trying for months, failing many times in the process.
Oh! No! 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 What the fuck, dude? He's never shot before that early!
During an attempt back in February, 12 hours in, he'd finished the Dark Souls trilogy and Bloodborne in a row, but with only Demon's Souls to beat, he fell to a hit from the tutorial boss, Vanguard. He wasn't such a happy hob back then.
No! Fuck! No! No! No, dude! No! No! Not the fucking Vanguard!
But that didn't stop him, however. Completing his near impossible feat obviously took a lot out of the guy.
Soulsborne, no hero! We did it!
He celebrated in a rush of emotions by weeping and hugging his dog. We're assuming the lady in his life left him a good while ago. The dog, who isn't quite as excited as he is in the video, was probably waiting for the right time to remind the Happy Hob that Sekiro is out now, so time to get good, scrub.
That dog is having none of it in the clip. He's just like...
Well, the guy screams, he's like, oh, and you know what dogs are like, they pick up on energy, he's like, oh, what's up, is anything wrong? And he's like, oh, give us a cut, and he's like, like, fair play to the guy, all credit to the guy, he's absolutely like committed to this thing. All right, he's a Twitch streamer, he does it for a living, whatever, but to manage that, I can't even go like 3 minutes in Sekiro without taking a hit. How we can manage that? Apparently Sekiro's really harder than the rest of them as well, apparently.
That's what they say.
A lot harder. We'll see. I mean, obviously that's his next challenge now. Is doing all 6 games back to back, and he was especially happy because I think he completed it just before Sekiro was released on Friday, and that was his aim, and he just about made it. So congratulations to the Happy Hob. You have our utmost respect here from PGG.
I definitely couldn't do it. Fuck that.
I couldn't do it. I've got too much of a life, man. It would take me my entire life to probably even finish the games, and mind no hitting them.
I'm not even sure if there's any game I would play like that much to try and cane. Well, yeah, but caning any game in 10 hours, you'd have to
10 hours straight.
Yeah, because you'd have to practice like he did, because he kept failing. Yeah. I don't know if there's any game I could do that for and still love it afterwards.
Yeah, that's true.
Because he must be like a massive Dark Souls fan.
Yeah, you just gotta learn. It's just learning all the moves and stuff.
Yeah, that's what I mean. You have to really grind it and practice.
It's not gaming at that point, is it? It's just a job. What's the hardest game you guys have ever played? And what's the longest that you've ever played in a row? Was it 10 hours? And was it the Dark Soulsborne series? Let us know down in the comments.
So that's it for your Monday News Roundup. We're here every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. You can check the description in any of those videos and find out links to all the stories we've been talking about. You'll also find a link to our merch store, because by chance we are both wearing a Pretty Good Gaming t-shirt.
They are pretty good.
But by chance.
Legitimately pretty good.
If you like the content we're creating and want to help us make it, go on over to patreon.com/prettygoodgaming. You get early access to our podcast, as well as a bunch of other goodies. I've been Henry, he's been Gaz. We'll catch you next time. Bye for now.
And we're going to brighten up your Monday morning with some of the best news that's happened in the gaming stuff all over the time that you've seen us last. That was so bad.
All over the time.
My brain just goes off that way, and I'm like, I want to say that thing. And the brain's like, oh shit, I've got to come back.
I knew it was correct, but my brain was just like, well, you're going to say it the wrong way.